A wonderful day to you out there, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to another edition of Standpoint. I am Dakpo Aruajoy. It's obvious that the Niger Delta region is experiencing peace as to the vandalization of pipelines. We give kudos to the peace moves by acting President Yemi Osinbajo. Osinbajo had visited some of the oil-producing states, including Imo, Delta, and Rivers State. He already had moves to also to visit Ondo State, but had to cancel his plan at the later schedule. So how will the relative peace translate to prosperity for the nation as we rely on the resources coming out from there for survival? Talking about crude oil. And also talking about Ondo State, the Sunshine State just experienced a new dawn. The sixth democratically elected governor was sworn in on Friday. As an oil-producing state, what are the expectations of the people of Ondo State in the light of the progressive state? Do you think Arakunrin Akeredolu should make job creation one of his priorities of his government? We expect your contributions when the phone lines are open. These are the issues we shall be dissecting on the program today. My name is Dakpo Aruaje. When we return from the break, I will introduce my guest. Stay with us. Thank you for staying tuned. The newly elected governor, talking about Arakunrin Akeredolu, might call on the program today. We might have him live on the program. But before we do that, hopefully, I will introduce the guest in the studio. I'll start from my right-hand side. Hamed Ojikutu is the president, Computer and Allied Products Dealers Association of Nigeria, the president of Computer Village, better still. Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And also Honorable Efe Ofoburuku, a member, Delta State House of Assembly, representing the people of Uwe constituency, and is the chairman House Committee on Works, and the only SDP member, I think, in Nigeria, I guess.
Yes, that's an assembly member.
In Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you
for joining us, Honorable Efe Ofoburuku. And also, Ahmed, congratulations. The last time you were on the program, you were not the president of the Computer Village yet. Congratulations once again.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with you, Honorable Efe Ofoburuku. What do you think? It seems you were here the last time on this program, so we're complaining about this pipeline vandalization, a whole lot happening in Niger Delta. And even the president, the president has been declared that if you don't see relative peace in Niger Delta, it's not going to be easy to fund the 2017 budget. We need 2.2 million barrels a day, talking about crude oil production. Do you think we are almost getting there because of this relative peace we're enjoying now?
Well, thank you very much. I won't say we are almost getting there, but you know, in our last discussion on this same subject matter, we looked at it from three perspectives. We have the short-term approach, the medium-term, and the long-term approach. I think what Mr. Acting President has done is to embark on the short-term approach, and you can see it is yielding results. So I think after this level, we need to take it to the next level, build on it, to improve on it to the medium-term level and to the long-term level. Otherwise, if we feel that because we are experiencing some level of peace, production has increased, then the government decides to go to sleep, we might have a situation where we revert to status quo, where we go back to Egypt, where we go back to where we are coming from, and it will not be good enough. It's not as if I'm issuing a threat, but it has become the trend over the years. It has become a pattern, a practice. The government, maybe due to the outcry from the Niger Delta, takes a step in the right direction. They are achieving the desired result, and the government goes to sleep. I expect the acting president not to go to sleep, but to put in more effort and take it to the next level. And we in the Niger Delta, we are peace-loving people. Like I said in the last time I appeared on this program, no matter how secure you feel in your house, you lock yourself in your house, you have security men outside, nobody can get across to you. If somebody is out there, across your gate, throwing stones on your roof, the sound of the stones landing on your roof will cause a disturbance. You will not sleep. At the end of the day, you are still being disturbed. So, you know, now that we are beginning to make some progress in the right direction, the onus is on both the federal government and with the Niger Delta people to now judge, to sit down, to talk about it. Let's look at the gray areas. At that point, we'll be able to know whether we, the Niger Delta people, are sincere, or it is the federal government that is not sincere. So we bring our cards to the table, we look at it, and we move on from there. Don't forget, the Niger Delta is not the only part of Nigeria. You cannot have a situation where from time to time it is Niger Delta every day, Niger Delta every day, Niger Delta every day. Personally, I'm getting sick and tired of it. So we must do our part as a people for the Niger Delta, and the government should be willing to do their part also as government. Like I also mentioned before, I am not expecting 100% result from the government. The government should not also expect 100% result from the Niger Delta. But we must reach a point where both those in the Niger Delta, the government, and other Nigerians who also benefit from the oil production in the Niger Delta should be comfortable. It must not be to the detriment of one group. It must not be to the benefit of only one group either. Whatever we are doing must be mutually beneficial to every interest. That is the only time we can begin to move forward as a nation.
Okay, thank you so much. Ahmed, let me go to you now. Because Honorable Ofobroku said what is being done now is like a short-term solution, but a long term is still there, and we should not just relent and assume all is well now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Apo. Majorly, the government, I mean, has been headed by the acting president, Osinbajo, as a better communication and a better delivery to me, because the people of the Niger Delta need someone to talk to. They need the federal government direction. And when you look at the pattern, when it was in Delta, the spokesman of the Garamatu Kingdom, in person of Chief Gospower Ogbe Nakama, said that what are the things they needed from the government? 1, reduce the level of militarization. 2, embrace dialogue. Let's talk. 3, he said they want their maritime university. And right then, right there, the acting president said, we are working already. The National Assembly is working on the legislation, backing it. But we are resuming work back at the site of the university, which gave the people succor. Right now, there might be some other level of agitation, but already to the people of the Garamatu Kingdom and Delta State, they now understand that the government is going back to doing what they actually want. And negotiation, interaction requires you do your bit, let me do mine. Short-term wise, the president has heard that probably the contractors or the federal government will approve money, or the Federal Executive Council will approve money to go back to the site. The people will see that work is continuing. We are going to have our university. These are monies that comes from oil production that is coming back to us. We will have our maritime university. And all that things in terms of medium term. When the acting president, Osinbajo, was in Rivers, he said, the people that are doing the refineries, the illegal refineries, we are going to employ you.
Yes.
And when he said that, the people that means these people have some level of localized technology to refine the refineries that are not functional in Nigeria. They have a local way of refining it. And if they have this, solution, the government is now giving them the language they want to hear. We are not going to fight you or kill you. We want you to come on board. Niger Delta, on the long run, he said in Rivers, the acting president said that we are going to make sure that we just don't exploit from this region. That the government is going to make sure that there are petrochemical companies.
Yes.
This pen, nylon, the polythenes, they are materials from the crude oil. And the companies that produces this will be in the Niger Delta. Giving employment in the Niger Delta. And these are medium and long-term solutions. So if this thing can be followed through, yes, I tell you, there will be rest of mind in that region. Okay. Economic benefit that the nation as a whole gets from the region will improve. And I'm telling you, the nation will have peace at long run.
Okay, what do you think? Because, Honorable, because he talked about the vice president or the acting president saying, okay, we are going to Georgia now, not war, if you want to use the local parlance, because dialogue is the best. We'll talk, we don't, over militarization will be out of the situation. That is definitely what you prefer also.
Yes.
And again, the presence of the vice president and the words that came out of him, does it give assurance to the people? Did they feel carried along?
Well, let me say that personally, the little the acting president said, I am satisfied, personally. But I want to hope that what he said when he visited represents the view of his principal, Mr. President, who is currently on a medical vacation. Because we have had situations where anytime there's a change of government, we start from square one. We have really not had continuity in governance in this country. It does not make you a weakling. When you come, you see that your predecessor did well in a certain area and you continue with it or you improve on it. That is not to say that you are weak. That is not also to say that you don't have your own policies or programs. Anything that is good is good. And anything that is good is worth emulation. So, the acting president, with due respect to him, having taken some steps. First of all, the steps makes a lot of sense. And you can see the multiplier effect of the step. Sudden calm.
A sudden calm.
Sudden calm. And suddenly everywhere is quiet. Everybody is watching. Everybody's, people are excited. They want to see the next action of government. I want to hope that, like I said, when Mr. President finally returns, there will be no reversal of the process. You see, some of us in government, some of us in this country, we think that flexing muscles is always the way out of any problem. But I beg to disagree sincerely. Sometimes you stoop to conquer. That is not to say you are no longer Mr. President, you are no longer the commander-in-chief. What you want is result. The difference between an educated man and an illiterate man is their approach to solving problems. So you must show capacity that you were not elected in error, you were not elected by mistake, you were not elected by default. You were elected because the people can see in you that you have what it takes. If you ask me, the acting president has shown, it's 7-up in our local balance. The difference is clear. The difference is clear. He has not thrown any punch at anybody. He has not ordered military to crush anybody. He's getting the job done. He's coming out of his comfort zone. That your president does not mean that you must sit in Aso Rock 24 hours of the day, 360 days of the year. No. Come out, interact with the people. When you were seeking the votes, you came out and interacted with the people.
Yes.
So after, why is it that the people have now become a threat to you and are afraid to come back to the same people who you went to solicit for the job? You asked for the job. I doubt if I went to Mr. President or the acting president's house to go and ask him to run. He came to me that he wants to run, that he has the answer to the problems, that he has the solution, he has the cure. And Nigerians believe them that yes, you have the cure.
The cure.
So now bring the cure, you're hiding in your closet. No. You must come out and administer the cure so that we can see that, yes, there is result.
Okay.
So
we'll come back and talk about this job creation, the one he mentioned initially, the petrochemicals coming in there. But there's something you said, I want him to react to it. He said, there's no big deal if, okay, let me rephrase it. What he's trying to say is, is the president and the vice president, are they in tandem? If you get what I mean? Because is it that the president will now say, okay, this is what will happen in Niger Delta, and when the president comes, will say otherwise? Do you think that will happen?
No. Affirmative, no. To every leader, there is a style. And the leader...
You're hiding in your closet. No. You must come out and administer the cure so that we can see that, yes, there is result.
Okay. So we'll come back and talk about this job creation, the one he mentioned initially, the petrochemicals coming in there. But there's something you said, I want him to react to it. He said, there's no big deal if, okay, let me rephrase it. What he's trying to say is, is the president and the vice president, are they in tandem? If you get what I mean? Because is it that the president will now say, okay, this is what will happen in Niger Delta, and when the president comes, will say otherwise? Do you think that will happen?
No. Affirmative, no. To every leader, there is a style. And the leadership style has to do with, you know, your background. Our president was, you know, considering his background from the military, his approach to issues will be definitely different from the background of the acting president.
A pastor.
A pastor, no.
Okay.
An academic.
And a lawyer also.
And a lawyer.
Yes.
He will believe more in consensus building, while the president, being, you know, a military person and a former head of state at that, will believe, you know, in another approach. But that is why it's called a teamwork. And I am sure that I'm not seeing the mind of the president right now, but looking back, you will see that the president will understand that VP, I think you are competent. You know, I'm a leader also. And I lead like a mini Nigeria, which is Computer Village. And I tell you, my vice is an Igbo man. I am a Yoruba man. And when you now discover that, okay, this person has a competence in certain areas, I would tell you that the president will probably give the, you know, the negotiation, dialogue, arbitration, and consensus building between the federal government and the Niger Delta to the vice president. And that is the solution that all of us can see now that the VP has more listening here. And I tell you, people that the VP wants to go and dialogue with, which is our brothers from the Niger Delta areas, knows that the president has another background. So when the VP talks to them, the understanding will work more because they know that he has a boss.
Okay.
So both of them are important on this issue on hand. The president is there, is more, you know,
Focused
the VP is, you know, a very consensus building person. And when you now put the team together, I pray that we are able to achieve a good government policy on Niger Delta, which is we should do something that maybe we'll do it as a mini national conference. Let's come up with a paper that will say this is our 10 years plan for the Niger Delta, this is our 20 years plan. And if these things are achievable, next government will follow on the level at which we'll get to. And I pray that it works for us, because Niger Delta, we cannot continue to treat them this way. And I want to advise my brothers too, that there is competition in Nigeria now.
Yes.
Oil are being discovered
Yes.
in other regions. The Chad Basin, in Lagos State, that is our own state. You cannot go to the Chad Basin, for instance, in the core north, that you want to go and fight for resources there if you have depleted your own ecosystem. So now, I think the Niger Deltas understand that they want to talk.
Yes.
The federal government should be sincere.
Yes.
Also, so that we put this thing to rest once and for all.
Once and for all. And the nation should gain something from our oil, really.
We should all gain, because they owns the oil.
They should gain something.
They should not something. They should gain a major part, sincerely, so that if the Niger Delta is an El Dorado, everybody is educated, and there is certain level of, you know, illiteracy level very high. There is good healthcare system. There is good infrastructure. Tell me who wants to go to fight? Nobody.
When everything is rosy.
When everything, I want to, you know, look at the Southwest. They will say an average Yoruba man does not want to fight. Awolowo did it. Everybody has some certain level of education. So who do you want to tell?
Yes.
They will say Yoruba man doesn't want to die. It's not that, because he has some level of education.
They feel all is well.
And he feels that even if he's not getting there today, he'll get there tomorrow. So he's strictly, you know.
Yeah, because there's a way to keep the people involved in the system. Because if you feel, okay, I have a contribution here in this system, in this society, there's no reason where you have to take a gun against the system also. Because the president or the acting president said the people, that are involved in the local refineries, the illegal refineries, they will be incorporated into these modular refineries. I think those people will think, okay, that's a positive one. At least if you are incorporating into this, I'd rather stop the illegal refining process. What do you think that they were into before? What do you think?
Well, before I respond to that, I want to draw the attention of my colleague on this conversation to what he just mentioned, that there's competition here. Oil has been discovered in the Chad Basin in Lagos State. I smiled when I heard that. You see, we try to, a lot of times we make the mistake of thinking that the struggle in the Niger Delta is all about just the Niger Delta. It goes beyond that, because whatever rules that are applicable in the Niger Delta today will be applicable to the so-called oil that has been discovered even in Lagos or the Chad Basin you are talking about. That is the truth. If the formula, if the eggs are well shared in the Niger Delta, you can be sure that people of Lagos State will equally benefit from the sharing of the egg in their own state in the case of the oil that has been discovered. So if the equation is faulty in the Niger Delta, the same thing will happen in Lagos. Before you know it, even in Lagos, people will begin to agitate. Because if you are producing oil in Lagos, and majority of those working in the oil companies come from the Niger Delta, no matter how educated the Yoruba man is, he won't like it. Because majority of, let's look at it this way, majority of the human rights activists in Nigeria are Yorubas. They are educated, they are fighting. Fighting does not necessarily translate to only carrying of arms. They are into intellectual struggle. So they will also be fighting. To those who are not educated, they may resort to carrying arms. But to the educated ones, they might want to use their brains to embark on the fight. The same thing will happen if you finally find oil in the Chad Basin and it's being, being explored and sold and money is being made, and the people of that region are not involved.
Yeah, you have a
point. You bring Yorubas
there.
from Lagos to come and run the business there. The same thing we are experiencing in the Niger Delta will happen there. Because in the Niger Delta, we have a situation where there is a bakery right in our house. The bread is being baked. All we can get from it is the aroma from the baking of the bread.
So this is a fight for all.
We don't even have the bread to taste from. So that's why I said we have the short term, the medium term, and the long term. So what we are looking at in all is a situation where we should also participate in the eating of the bread. It's a situation where we should also participate in the baking of the bread.
It's where equity.
Yes, we should be part of those who work in the bakery that is baking the bread. After all, the raw materials for the production of the bread is localized. Yes, localized. And the factory is also... I mentioned in your studio here sometime in December that I come from a community that is host to a refinery.
Yeah, you told me.
I was never given opportunity to work there. Let us assume in quote that I am so dull. But I doubt if I am. There are other intelligent people as well. Even for IT, industrial training in the refinery, you sweat. You can't get a slot, a space to go there for IT.
So there's no sense of belonging.
There is no sense of belonging, you see. So,
So where do the people come from? The people that are employed, really? Where do they come from?
I give you an example. When Mr. Obele was the MD of the refinery, most of those he brought were from Rivers State, from Eleme, because he comes from that area. When we had Northerners heading the place, you had Northerners being brought in. That has been the SOP, the standard operational procedure.
So you just bring your people.
So we, the locals, we are more or less like spectators. Like I said before, the paycheck of the oil sector is good money. It's quality money. It makes a lot of sense, even to me as a public office holder. I'm telling you the truth. So if you give the people sense of belonging, if my brother works in the refinery, for instance, and I am a militant, I know too well that if I destroy the refinery, my brother will be jobless.
Yes.
To that extent, if he becomes jobless, he has to depend on me. I have to pay his bills. There's nobody who likes burden. I would not want to add extra load to the one I have already. The worst that will happen, I will tell my brother, look, tell your MD, let them do something about this, about that. We cannot continue like this. But when my brother has no stake, I have no stake.
So
I see the people driving big cars being escorted by soldiers. Nigerian army escort oil company workers. In the Niger Delta, that's what they do. Do you have that anywhere in the world? Nigerian army escort oil company workers. I have seen a white lady whose husband works in Shell being escorted by 5 soldiers to the Warri main market.
To the market?
To the market, yes. And one of the soldiers was carrying her handbag. That is how bad. So when you know that what you are doing is wrong, so why continue in it?
I wonder. I'll come back to that, the refinery and everything, because is reflecting back on what you said, and the people are not being carried along. That's a major problem. But don't you think the state government or even the local government have got a part in all this? We cannot leave it to the federal government alone. Because, can I quickly take this call and I'll come back to that same question. Kajidat, how are you? Good afternoon from Kaduna. Hello, Kajidat, are you there? I think I lost that call. Okay, try and call back, okay? You know where I was going with that question is, look at what is happening where you are heading now, the computer village. I cannot imagine how many boys are employed or indirectly employed in that computer village. A whole lot of people there. Can the state government in like Bayelsa, Rivers, and some other places, even in Ondo State, which is an oil-producing state also, can they look for an avenue like that? Because maybe in conjunction with like some cell phone makers, set up industries, not even oil companies alone, set up enough places for boys to go to in the morning, and at the end of the day, they have something to count. They can feed and they can even provide for their families.
Okay. Thank you, Dakpo. Sincerely, employment and crime, they are words and opposites. How do I mean? An idle hand
The devil's workshop.
is the devil's workshop. Somebody that has a gainful employment, that is making so much, or is sustaining himself, you cannot tell him after maybe a 10 hours work or 8 at night to come and help you, to come and, cause and harm, or,
Does he have
carry
something
ammunitions
doing?
at night because he has something gainfully doing.
Can I interrupt you? I'm sorry about
Okay,
that. I
go
need to take a caller from Lagos. Lucky. How are you? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, your contribution, please.
Yes, sir. I love what the man with the hat or the cap just talking about.
Mr. Jikutu.
You see, for we to actually hit the nail on the head, first thing first that we need to do in the Niger Delta. If you have been there, you cried. First thing we need to do in the Niger Delta. I thank God what the VP is doing, But first thing first that we need to do in the Niger Delta, let them build up industries. If you have been to the Escavor, you have been to this, you see the white people, they are living large. They are living large. We that is from the Niger Delta, nothing is to write home about, my brother. So sometimes people will sit in Abuja and think that all is well with those people there. Nothing is well. Many things is being removed from them. They need a replacement. Their children need to live a good life. Please, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lucky. Okay, I'll let you continue from there.
Yeah.
Job creation.
Job creation. Majorly, the statistics is, or the projection for year 2020 is agriculture is going to be the largest contributor to the to the GDP, followed by ICT in the new world. So that means agriculture will surpass the contribution of petroleum or crude oil, as it may be, followed by ICT, and these two industry or sectors of the economy will surpass the petroleum industry. Now, moving on as a people, let's get the Niger Deltans involved in the, development, in employment, in training, and all that, in infrastructural development. That's one. Two, the state government, the federal government, should come to the realization that entrepreneurship is the solution to economic development. China, United States of America, has the largest entrepreneurs in the world. And that is when people get trained in little, artisanship, businesses, and, they become
Empowered.
After empowerment, they start doing whatever they want to do. In 1 year, they begin to employ other people. In 5 years, if you have a very good, business growing faster, you become to employ 20, 30 people. That person will move from a small entrepreneur to a medium entrepreneur to a large scale. That's the small and medium scale and to a large scale. So that is how you go.
And the ripple effect is
and the ripple effect
job
is
creation.
Job creation. If there to a large scale, so that is how you go.
And the ripple effect is
and the ripple effect
job
is
creation.
Job creation. If there is job creation, there will be the reduction in crime. So they are very related.
Yes.
So the higher number of people that are employed, gainfully employed, the lesser number of people that will be willing to go to crime. So the Niger Delta problem is as a result of there are no employment, no hopes, and people are now resort to going to the extreme. The government should see it from this angle. Computer Village, for example, is a market that emerges out of no government plan, out of unemployment of some young entrepreneurs. They came together after university in the popular street called Otigba. And after then, God was so good. The computer penetration, the GSM penetration by 99 to 2000 now expanded the market, and it became a source of employment
for a whole lot of people.
For a whole lot of people. When you go to Abuja GSM Village, the same thing. You see a lot of people getting employed.
So that's the same concept.
The same concept, and all over the 36 states and the federal capital.
Okay.
Now, what the federal government can do and the state government is to make sure that we develop people individually. Everybody cannot get employment. Let's be sincere.
The white collar employment.
No, white collar employment. In blue chip companies, people should now be trained. And when you look at the recommendation of the Ogoni, that the federal government is working on now, they said some of the things the government needs to do is training, is part of it. Whereby if there is an entrepreneurship training for people in Niger Delta, you train people to become the best, designers, best entertainers, best, people who do medicine. They won't know medical business. No, if a medical doctor does not need to, administer an injection before you become a perfect medical business person. Now, taking that industry to business you need to be taught.
I know. And we need to go on a short break. We'll come back. I know there's more where those come from, so we'll just take it from there. And don't go anywhere, please. Okay, welcome back. We've been looking at Niger Delta, looking at the relative peace there, and what has happened, why, and how are we going to sustain this relative peace. And we need to talk about Ondo State also. You might recollect or know that Ondo is part of Niger Delta. And yesterday, the new governor, Arakunrin Keredolu, was sworn in as the 6th democratically elected governor of that state. And during the speech, I took some notes there. He said they have this, what's it called, blueprint that is anchored on 5 cardinal programs. It's called the JMPPR, and that's talking about job creation through agriculture, entrepreneurship, industrialization. He also talked about massive infrastructural development and maintenance. He talked about provision of functional education and technological growth. Talked about healthcare, rural development. But there's something he talked about really that caught my attention. That's done. That's this integration of the southwestern states. Because yesterday, you may recall, even Ayodele Fawashe is a member of the PDP, a governor under the umbrella of PDP. He was still there at the inauguration, which is a good sign. But let me take it to you now, Honorable for Buruku. What do you think about that, which the governor emphasized on talking about regional integration, all the southwestern states? They should come together, which should be applicable to other states too, borrowing from what Awolowo did way back, or forefathers did way back.
Whereas I would say that regional integration is very good, I also say that true federalism is key. But today's Nigeria has gone beyond the federalism of regions as practiced in the days of Awolowo. We should be talking about federalism today in Nigeria to be practiced by states. The devolution of power should go to the states, then the states to the local government.
And the federal?
Then the federal. If we call ourselves Federal Republic of Nigeria, for Christ's sake, we should be seen to be federating in the word federating. we shouldn't be Federal Republic of Nigeria by nomenclature, whereas our modus operandi is like a merchandise, a capitalist system of government. You just want quick money, you want to maybe sell oil, you want to collect, and not until we do that, we will not achieve the result. Now, the integration that is being built in the Southwest is very good, but you see, if care is not taken, it will suffer a setback.
What do you mean?
Because there is no part of the world where any government at the center wants any other tier of government or arm of government within that framework to be too powerful. Because there's this saying that divided we fall, together we stand. If you allow the Southwest to come together, they will form a bloc, a very powerful bloc that can at any time hold the nation to ransom. Don't forget that, whether you like it or not, the Southwest controls the economy of Nigeria. I give it to them by my own rating. So by the time they come together and they form a proper alliance, you see, why we in the Niger Delta, we have no economic power, so we go for the pipelines.
But you have alliance.
Just a minute. So we go for the pipelines because that is what we feel we can use to regulate the temperament of government. Then the Southwest people can come together and use the economic strength to also hold the government to ransom, or hold the nation to ransom, to regulate the So I think that the alliance might suffer setbacks when certain elements in government at the top might want to puncture it so that they don't become too powerful. Because whether you like it or not, the bad situation we have today, certain elements are profiting from it. That is the truth. Those who are profiting from it will not want such a thing to happen. So we must insist at every point in time that there must be true federalism, and it must be true federalism tied to the states. Because it will be too far for me to travel to Abuja to agitate, or to travel to Ibadan from Delta to agitate. But if I embark on foot, without a car, I can get to my state capital and hold my governor to ransom and demand for whatever I feel is due me. Okay. And the true federalism should not just end at the states. It should also go down as far as to the local yes, to the local governments. There should always be somebody to hold accountable. We must, like I've always said, we must continue to question our leaders.
Wonderful.
We must ask questions. You don't employ somebody and you get scared of the person to ask the person questions, for Christ's sake. Whether you are governor, president, House of Assembly member, senator, House of Rep member, you are an employee of the people.
Yes.
The people should rise up. They should know their position in this arrangement and question their employees. Who are those they have elected? Ask them questions. What is happening? Why are you not doing this? Why is this like this? Let them tell you. If you are not satisfied, wait for them at the ballot box.
Wonderful.
Yes, that is it.
Let me get to you now, Mr. Jikutu. What do you think about what Arakunrin Oluwarotimi Akeredolu said about this pseudo regional autonomy?
Regional autonomy is very good and fantastic. It worked well in the Southwest region, that the region could achieve the first television station in Africa earlier than France, the tallest building in Western Africa, which is the Cocoa House.
The Cocoa House. They
could build university.
Like Obafemi
Awolowo University of today, University of Ife of yesteryears. The Western House at the Marina, and a lot of others. They could build free education, and which was not popular then when Chief Obafemi Awolowo brought it to bear. Okay, we can achieve free education. It wasn't supported by everybody across board, but today it was achievable because that unit of government was it was a unitary, or before the unitary came, it was a regional government.
Regional government. Yeah.
Regional government. So the regions had so much power for policy and policy implementation, policy making, and all that. Now, if there must be a coming together of this region, as it may be, the Southwestern region, what will be the advantage is they will just set policies. Areas at which they need to work together, there needs to be a bridge from Ikorodu to Arepo, for instance. If there is cooperation and integration, they would set the goals together and achieve Akute to maybe Ifo or somewhere around that axis.
Yes.
There needs to be a metro line, for instance, within the Southwest.
Yes.
You can actually work together, but if there is no template for this, there should be, not millennium now, maybe a 10-year plan for the region that these are the policies every household must make sure they send their wards to school. If these things are set, it will just be policies within that region that will make it. But in the real sense of trying to come together in terms of finances and funds, it might not be too possible. Because when we talk about true federalism, as it's been practiced in the United States, that we, fashion our own type of federalism towards, it is the states that powers resides. And if the powers resides in the states, each state, even in the south, in the region that we are talking, Niger Delta region, must have the powers, not the region, because they are individual. You can look at the case of Ondo that we're talking about. Ondo falls within the southwest. It falls, in
the Niger Delta
Pass also. So, but what we say here is, if the Southwest wants to come together, it's fantastic. We are, it will be very good in terms of policy formation. But what we demand, and I am supporting, full-fledged, is a true federalism. When we have a true federalism today in Nigeria, just give Nigeria like 4 years, everything will fall in place.
So
let the Niger Deltas make money in Niger Delta.
You made the center not attractive.
Yeah, yes. Let the Niger Deltas make money, so much money from their oil wells. Send a certain percentage to the federal. Then the people would hold their governors accountable. Yes. It is easy for us to go to our governor here in Alausa rather than to go to Abuja.
I have a caller from Abia, Amazi Okorafo. How are you, sir? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. That's Comrade Mazi Patrick Okoroka from Delta State, yes, Blue Village. Good afternoon, our guests in the studio.
Good afternoon.
First of all, let me congratulate the governor of Ondo State. Thank God for what you have written about his agenda. But yes. I'm not suggesting on this program, let him translate and pay the YFC and JAMC for the students when that time comes.
Okay.
To help boost the economy of the state and the parents and kids.
Okay.
If they change, there must be a change. Now, the Niger Delta we are talking about, you see, there is one thing we have to look at Niger Delta. Education is very, very important. Now, let's take the that the land there, the sector of this soil there is no good. But I would suggest that if those oil companies can just help people provide caravan houses to serve as classrooms, it will help educate the problem of lack of classrooms. This will now help educate the people there. Let them have that basis, how to read and write. At least education is very important to eradicate or reduce the rate of high illiteracy in the Niger Delta. It will help. Now, issue of money, how this money that have been pumping to Niger Delta, where have the elders, the youth, any money coming to that place from today, which is today is what?
21st
of February. The youth then must know how much the government is pumping to that.
Yes.
It will help because not the people when they gather the youth, they stay in Abuja, show us television show, abracadabra show, paper will carry. At the end of the day, we don't know where the money is going. It will not help us because if we don't do all this and this man, there is nothing in this country that will stop Niger Delta crime. Government has to put things on ground. Thank God the vice president is saying so. What better? All those boys who are doing that bunking, bring them into the system. Let them be producing also. See, I bought gas 2,000 naira 2 days ago. I was highly annoyed. Gas of 3,005 in Nigeria, where we have crude oil. It is very, very shameful. Creating no way. What are any money coming to that place from today, which is today is what?
21st
of February. The youth then must know how much the government is pumping to that.
Yes.
It will help because not the people when they gather the youth, they stay in Abuja, show us television show, abracadabra show, paper will carry. At the end of the day, we don't know where the money is going. It will not help us because if we don't do all this and this man, there is nothing in this country that will stop Niger Delta crime. Government has to put things on ground. Thank God the vice president is saying so. What better? All those boys who are doing that bunking, bring them into the system. Let them be producing also. See, I bought gas 2,000 naira 2 days ago. I was highly annoyed. Gas of 3,005 in Nigeria, where we have crude oil. It is very, very shameful. Creating no way. What are we doing? Are you talking about how to produce the garri? Where is the land? Where is the fertilizer? Thank you very much. Have a blessed day.
Thank you so much, Mazi Okorafo. And because it took it from my mouth, really, because He said the youths, the people should know how much has been spent, how much the federal government wants to spend. And at the end of the day, so there will be accountability and transparency. Because the Shell itself has promised or is going to invest $1 billion into Niger Delta, like $200 million every year for like 5 years. That is a huge sum of money. And you know, a whole lot of money has been invested in Niger Delta. So people wonder, where did they spend the money? So that's what he was saying the other time. If there's something like the regional cooperation, the people of Niger Delta will benefit most, because they will have a way to even hold the people to ransom. That's the people that are representing them, which they are not even representing in a proper way.
Well, I would want to look at it from a very broad perspective. If you talk about investment by Shell, you talk about issue of land, talk about questioning. The truth of the matter is the hide-and-seek business in the politics of oil in Nigeria starts from the federal. I can tell you there is no Niger Delta governor that knows the exact amount of oil produced in the state. I stand to be challenged.
We don't even know how much we produce generally.
The governors don't even know the quantity of oil produced in their states, because there is hide-and-seek going on at federal level.
But is the fault of the governors also?
Listen, I am aware of the effort my governor has put in to know the production content of data from DPR.
You mean Okowa? Or
yes. Okay. Even the previous governor did the same thing. It's a case of come today, come tomorrow, like a police case. Come today, come tomorrow. Come today, come tomorrow. Because there is instruction. There is a hidden hand that is controlling the affairs there, that has given stern warning. Don't disclose. It is what we tell them that is applicable. So the federal government is not telling the state governors the truth. Otherwise, I can tell you for free that what is being declared to most of the states are producing more than that. The Ondo State you just talked about, what Akeredolu will see is not what comes from Ondo State. Ondo State is producing more than what Akeredolu will be told. Delta is producing more than. There's this secret court-like arrangement in the oil business in Nigeria. And it is between the federal government and the IOCs, the international oil companies. So they do hide and seek. They only want to disclose as much as they want you to have. So if you produce 10,000 barrels and they want you to benefit from only 5,000 barrels, they are going to tell you that what is being produced is 5,000 barrels.
And the remaining 5,000 will just go to somebody's purse.
Of course, then you can now talk about the underhand dealings. In the last couple of months, we have heard so much.
Like almost $10 million was found in the coffers of just one person.
We have heard so much. Let us even agree that somebody gave that as a gift.
As a gift.
For doing what? For the person.
I wonder.
obviously for compromising the federal government of Nigeria.
Yes, that's a whole lot of gifts.
Yes, for you to qualify for such a humongous gift, then you must have compromised humongously as well. That is what we have, because one good turn deserves another. If I'm giving you millions of dollars as gift, I know what I have gotten.
Thousands of barrels of crude oil.
Yes, because even Santa Claus, Father Christmas, for you to get a gift from him, you must buy ticket. That is it. He does not give you the gift for free. You show your ticket, you walk in, and he gives you a gift.
But maybe the Santa Claus in Nigeria, maybe it's not the ones abroad.
At least to the best of our knowledge, the Santa Claus we know is the one we see here. You get a ticket before you get a gift from him. So when you are getting that kind of gift, obviously somebody has gotten something.
Almost $10 million.
So questions, you see, so all this hide and seek, once you have initiated hide and seek, you have created loophole for the people operating the industry to also do some shenanigans.
I want him to react to what you just said. He said even the newly elected governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, is what the federal wants him to know. That's the amount of oil being produced in his own state. That's what they tell him. There's a cabal up there that is not even making the governors realize this is how much you worth.
Thank you very much. The challenge that we have in Nigeria, is not inflicted on us by any other person rather than ourselves. Now, for 6 years or close, the president of this nation was from that region from the region of Niger Delta.
Yes.
And if there are issues, when issues arise, let's face it, if there are issues relating to this region, number one, relating to a particular industry, number two, we must, tackle them the right way. We don't know the number of the quantum of oil that is being produced by states, because the state will get derivation from
the federal.
What is declared.
Yes, from what is declared.
So the states are not being, given the right figures, so that what they will get from the federal allocation probably will not be. Now, if Niger Delta president was, was at the ends of affair, now another president from another region is there. I can tell you for free that everybody in his own mind, we know as Nigerians that this present government is trying so seriously on anti-corruption campaign, and we can all see the results. But what I want us to face is that as a people, if we have today's problem, we cannot solve it by doing hide and seek, because sometime will come, we have campaigns on anti-corruption. If the government really face this anti-corruption campaign and is ready to make sure that those people that have compromised, we monitor them, then we'll get these monies from them onto the future.
Yeah, pump it back into the economy.
That is why when they say this present government is doing selective, anti-corruption campaign, I said let them continue whatever way. The next government,
let them do selective.
Let them do selective also,
just
so that they will check. So that tomorrow, even if I am elected and I see money on my table, I'll say I don't want. Because if the states are not being given the true declaration, the federal is having the money. After all, the money is not going to individual pockets based on what we know about this present government. So what we should do as a people is that, the federal government, is we should try as much as possible to decentralize this power. It will be painful.
Make the center less attractive.
Make the center less attractive. It will be painful initially. Some regions will just be preparing and probably they are not ready. But if this present government can achieve it, let's look at the Niger Deltans have the resources they will enjoy. Let them enjoy it. Let them give us a little from it into the federation account. But I tell you that at long run, competition,
will develop
being an advanced management student, competition will bring performance. By the time the state gets the wealth, they give the federal the little amount they want, or the certain percentage. If the Niger Deltans are ahead today, the North can be ahead through cocoa tomorrow, through
food production.
Groundnut tomorrow. The Southwest can come back with the largest production of palm oil and palm kernel, or cocoa. So the competition at long run will help the nation.
Gentlemen, because we need to go now. As we round up, maybe you can drop a line or some few sentences within a minute.
Okay, in view of what you just said, I think if you talk about allowing the various states or regions to control what they have, there shouldn't be any fear in that. If, for example, the federal government takes 70% of what is coming from oil production, just give an example, let us see that the states are the ones directly controlling the oil and still give it that 70%, for instance, back to the federal government. You will discover that the 30% that goes to the states is so much. So what is the fear about? What is the fear about? Just like my brother here said, we must give opportunity for those states that are agrarian to develop agriculture. This federalism we practice here, where a governor sits, most of them even lay ambush in Abuja. They are more in Abuja. They're just waiting for FAC meeting to take place. They just receive, quickly dash to their states and pay salaries and do one or two things, and they are back to Abuja. It will stop.
They need to think within.
Yes, they cannot look back and say, look, I have this land, let's go into agriculture. Then at that point, the people who are controlled, since we may not have as much agricultural products like maybe in the north, we cannot, I can walk from my house to the house of the person I know is controlling the oil well to hold this trouser. Where is the money? What have you done in the last 1 month?
Because you know who to go and meet.
Yes, I know who to go and meet. That is it.
Can you try and drop a line also?
The problem in the Niger Delta area are caused by lack of focus from the federal government, even the state governments. The governors of this region, too, should be more serious. The past governors, all the wealth they've gotten, they didn't manage them well, probably, is one of the problems. The local government, everybody should know that this project to develop this region is a job for the federal, the state, and the local government, and the traditional rulers. That is a sincere gist. That's number one. Number two is, as a nation, we need to embrace true federalism. If we embrace true federalism, it will bring competition amongst the states. And competition, I am very sure, brings performance. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Hamed Ojikutu, President, Computer and Allied Products Dealers Association Nigeria, Computer Village. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Also, and also Honorable Efeofo Buruku, a member representing Uwe constituency and is from the Delta State House of Assembly. Also Chairman House Committee on Works and the only SDP House of Assembly
That's
member
very key. That's
in
very
Nigeria.
Key. Yes.
Thank you so much,
It's my pleasure,
Honorable.
Dapo.
Thank you also.
Thank you very much.
And that's our package for today. We will try to get in touch with the governor-elect, or the governor of the new governor of Ondo State, Arakunrin Akeredolu, but I think that did not work out. Hopefully, we will try and talk about Ondo State next weekend and look at the plans the governor has got for that state. And thank you very much for being a part of the program. Let's do it again next week. My name is Dakbo Aruwajoye. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.